Good evening. I'm going to call the Public Works Committee meeting to order on Wednesday, December 3rd, 2025 at 6:05 PM. Clerk, can you take the roll, please?
Councilman Andujar,
Present.
Councilwoman Vaziri, Councilman Campiano,
Present.
Councilman Banano,
Present.
Council Vice President Haroyan, Councilwoman Graziano,
Present.
Council President Wall.
Here.
May I please get a motion to approve the minutes as submitted?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, can you take the roll?
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Okay, committee business matters carried over. There are none this evening, so we are going to move to public comment section of this meeting. Anyone in chambers who wishes to speak on docketed matters only may approach the podium, state your name and address, and you'll have 4 minutes. You may come forward. Okay, seeing no one, could we check online if there's any public that would like to speak online?
There is no public comment online.
Thank you. So I am going to head and going to close public comment for this evening. Matters before the committee. This evening there are none. So we're going to, I'm going to see if anyone would object to taking the agenda for council communications out of order. If there's any objections, please state them now. Seeing none, we're going to head out of order, and we are going to take Councilman Capapiano's communications on the school buildings, and I think we have the superintendent here this evening to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chairman. Well, this is an exciting time in the city of Cranston. After decades, we're building new schools and making some major improvements. It's a very exciting time to be here, and to be a student, to go in these new schools, the one in Garden City, is absolutely fantastic. And I can see the Gladstone rising above the horizon as I leave Home Depot. It's magnificent. So that being said, also one of the things that I hate most about being a councilman is spending other people's money. So I know these are huge projects that are going on. So I've asked to have the people involved to come in and let us all know where we stand, how we're doing, some of the deadlines, if we're on deadline, if we're on schedule, if we're on budget. And I see, in no particular order, I see Mr. Jensen here. I see the Superintendent Nona Massey here, and Joe Baldino. In no particular order, if you can come up and maybe just give us an insight on where we stand on all the different projects that are going on with the schools today, and look forward to hearing your comments. And if anybody has any questions later on, if you can answer them, that would be wonderful.
Madam Chair, Councilman Campiano. Also here tonight is the Executive Director of the Charter Academy, the AES Academy.
Oh, I apologize, didn't see. Okay, thank you.
Mrs. Lindsay Tavares.
Also, thank you for coming.
Okay, hold on, Councilman Andujar.
Just want to recognize Chairman Marcus here as well, and school committee member Dominic Fusco and Anthony Melillo that are here today. Thank you for coming.
The floor is yours.
Okay, so just I'm Chris Jetson, for those that don't know me. I'm the Chief Facilities and Capital Projects for the school department. So just to answer the question, there's 3 major projects undergoing at the moment. The first is Gladstone. Gladstone will be substantially complete in April of 26, and we will be in the academic school year operation for September of 26. The second project is Eden Park. Eden Park is underway. It's the last phase. That substantial completion will be estimated as July of 26. Also will be occupied for the academic 26-27 school year. And the third project is the AES Charter School, which at this point we are underway with the project. The project stands at estimating for the 60% CD drawings at the present time. So those are the three major projects that are undergoing at this time.
With the Gladstone, everything's on schedule, everything's on budget. How do we stand?
Everything is on schedule and on budget, yes.
Beautiful. I'd like to get a tour. I don't know if anybody else would like to get a tour at this point. It's definitely a magnificent building sitting there. Maybe we can schedule something like that.
Sure, anytime.
Anybody else have any questions?
And anyone else on the council have? Okay, Councilman Ritz.
I might be jumping ahead. Were you going to talk about the other projects too, after those three?
There are no other ongoing projects at this point.
So I'm the councilman in Ward 4. So the one question I get a lot is the parking lot in Cranston West. Is there an update on that one?
There is none. At this point in time, those three projects will exhaust the bonds that are outstanding at this point.
Councilman Capapiano.
I was fortunate enough to get a tour of all the schools when, during, I think it was in the spring, you took some time out of your day to give me a tour. One of the things that shocked me the most was the boilers in Cranston East. How were they addressed? Are they functional? Are they been repaired? Is there any point of replacing them at some point?
So at this point, that project was on hold, but what we did is we retubed 2 of the 3 existing boilers to extend the service life to get us through the heating season at this point.
I know it's a loaded question, but you don't know how far beyond this heating season they'll last. Is it something that's imperative that gets done?
Sure, it needs to be done.
That's all I got for now.
Okay.
Any other member, Councilman Bonanno?
First of all, thank you, Madam Chair. I like the way you answer questions, short, direct, to the point. There's not a lot of ambiguity about the answer, and we appreciate that. Yes, it needs to be replaced. Perfect answer. First of all, I want to say that this is a great topic to talk about because it's one that's generally positive. I attended Gladstone. My children attend Garden City, and what a phenomenal job that Cranston Public Schools and our city as a whole has done with these projects. And it reflects positively on the administration of the school department, as well as, the city as a whole. And I know that you kind of have been thrown into, I don't want to say thrown, but you've taken on a lot of this responsibility midway through. And I know that I can go on a limb and speak on behalf of the whole council and say, kudos, because it seems as though from the outside looking in, it's been relatively seamless, and you deserve credit for that. I have a question about the AES Academy. Basically, can you update us on that as well? We didn't talk about that yet, so can you update that as well? How the takeover of the building has been and how the renovations are going there?
Well, AES is a phased project. There's 4 phases. The first phase, we have started. The students did the graduate students did part of the demolition, started in the summer. Right now, the demo phase is complete. The abatement stage is complete. The roof will be started, say within the next 2 weeks. And at this point, we're working through the phased potential of the project, along with estimating the construction documents, which is 60% construction documents.
Thanks. So you got a lot of stuff going on, for sure.
Just a little.
Yeah. So like I said, I just want to reiterate, thank you. And I also want to thank, all the public officials on the school buildings committee, school committee, and the folks over at the administration of Cranston Public Schools. You make our city look good each and every day, and I thank you for that.
All right,
Thank you,
you.
Madam Chair.
Well, anyone else, on council?
That's all I have. I want to just thank you and the rest of the team for coming out tonight and pulling us in. Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
To echo those same statements, thank you guys. Really nice of you guys to come out full court press here for an update. Very nice of you.
Councilman Andujar?
I have a question for the chairman, Stevenson, if he could just step up to the podium real quick. Mr. Chairman, I want to thank you for your service. I've been to many meetings and it's acting in a very professional manner, great communication. But I just wanted to make it for the record and ask you the question, is the public or any of us on this side of the aisle invited or have permission to attend your meetings?
Yes, anybody from the public can attend, and I strongly urge people to come to the meetings. You will have at least 4 minutes to speak. We do it every meeting, and you can get any of the information you want. So I encourage you to come, anybody who wants to come from the public.
Thank you, thank you. Madam
Through
Chair,
the
is it?
chair, excuse me, can we have the name and address for the record, please?
Oh, yeah. I
Marcus
messed up.
Stevenson, 87 Garden Hills Drive.
You were saying something?
No, I just
Councilman?
wanted to know if I could call up our school committee man, Anthony Melillo, that's also on the board.
Sure, let's have everyone come up.
They're here, so.
Anthony Melillo, 33 Harvard Street, Cranston, Rhode Island.
Mr. Committee Man, I just wanted to get your feedback on how everything's going on the committee. If you see any progress, if you see any things that could be changed on the committee, since you're here. So I just wanted to get your input.
No, I mean, I think everything's going very smoothly on the committee. I mean, you see that, Andy, you're at every meeting, as well as Mr. Trafficante. So, again, the only thing maybe I would advise is at the school committee level, when members of the school committee sit on other committees, such as Parks and Recreation or legislation, or myself on the Buildings Committee, we bring updates back to the committee. So maybe on a monthly basis, you can add that to your committee meeting. So this way, any council members will feel like they're not getting the information they need. They can get it from yourself or Mr. Trafficante. Thank you.
So,
Thanks.
Councilman Trafficante, you have that job.
Okay, it looks like you're yielding. Anyone else on the council? Okay, we thank everyone for coming out this evening and the support, and we look forward to all of the projects being finished. Around on the agenda, I will say that Councilwoman Vice President Haroyan, she is not here this evening, but I also, for the Budlong Pool and Splash Pad update, I'm going to say that Director Correo is unavailable this evening. He had a city emergency he's dealing with. But I'm in agreement that over the winter, we might take a break on this agenda item if Councilwoman Haroyan agrees to that, because they are buttoned up for the winter. So we got a winter update at our last Public Works Committee meeting. So I think we might revisit this in February. So we are going to pass over update on Budlong Pool and Splash Pad. And so we are going to head over to President Wall for 45 Poplar Drive on the rodent rat update.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Believe it or not, this holiday season, I've heard no complaints from Poplar Drive regarding the rat rodent issue. In fact, I actually did get a couple of nice emails regarding the work that's been done. So I think we can remove this from Public Works. I think the rat rodent season is coming to, perhaps they're buckling down with the winter months coming. So perhaps maybe we'll revisit this once again in the spring, but for now, I think we can remove that, if that's all right, Madam Clerk, for the next meeting. I have no questions right now, and I'm pleasantly pleased with what's happening.
Okay, looks like Councilman Bonanno would like to speak.
Yeah, Very briefly, I've gotten the same emails, probably from the same people, to be honest with you.
I'm sure.
And in the emails, they've thanked, these people have thanked the president, myself, and the administration and the mayor's office, because once we sort of, I can't think of the word, but once we accelerated our efforts, it got dealt with very quickly. So, you know, these people are satisfied, at least for now, and that's how government's supposed to work. So it's nice to get one right. And I think we did all the way around on this one. And hopefully we can continue to do that once spring comes and the friends come out and play again.
Okay, you're welcome. It sounds like rodents are under control for now. We are going to head towards 0 Lawn Acre Drive again, President Wall.
Actually, I didn't realize that was going to be on this evening. I have nothing further to discuss on that.
Okay,
the truth,
we
yes.
are going to pass over that. I do not see any other matters before this committee. May I get a motion to adjourn?
So
Motion
moved.
to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. 6:21.
Good job.
Today is Wednesday, December 3rd at 6:30 PM. I'd like to call the Ordinance Committee meeting to order. Clerk, please take a roll.
Council Vice President Horoyan, Councilwoman Vaziri, Councilman Campiano, Council Banano,
Here.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Present.
Councilman Andujar,
Present.
Council President Wall.
Great. May I entertain a motion to approve the minutes from the November 6th, 2025 meeting?
Motion to approve the
Second
minutes
that
as
motion.
drafted.
Any discussion? Clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Council Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Is there any objection to take the meeting out of order?
For what purpose?
Clerk, please may I entertain a motion to take the meeting out of order?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second, sir.
Clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
No.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
At this time, I would go into public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to speak on docketed items only in the audience? Please come up to the podium.
Good evening, Robert Murray, 21 Garden City Drive in Cranston. I'm here tonight as a citizen, not on behalf of anybody but myself. I want to speak tonight in opposition to the proposed resolution asking the General Assembly to pass enabling legislation to establish a housing court in Cranston. I spoke against the proposed housing court ordinance in October, and among other things, mentioned that I felt you needed statutory authority to create such an expansion of government. While it appears someone was listening, I want to be clear, a bad idea in October is still a bad idea in December. Some will say this resolution is just to give us a chance to pass an ordinance if the legislature gives Cranston the authority, that the details can be worked out later. All the details mentioned to date by any measurement add up to an unnecessary expansion of the municipal court that is perfectly capable of handling minimum housing violations and property maintenance in our city. As a practicing attorney, I see their efforts every day, and there is no reason that the existing court structure cannot continue its role in code enforcement. Yes, a focus could be on supplementing the inspections department with additional support, but in these times of affordability and financial challenges faced by taxpayers, we should not be growing local government. Taxes were raised this year, and I'm concerned that you'll be faced with having to raise them again next year. We should be reducing the size of government, not expanding it. The cost of this housing court idea and its formation have evolved over the past few months. I guess we've gone from 6 new judges to fewer ones. We were adding staff to the court system and part-time inspectors. It was a pilot program, and then maybe not. I'm not sure where we are today. I did see the chair now says that we will have judges who will work for stipend, and that they will generate the funds to pay themselves with fines on defendants or property owners. What kind of system of justice is that where judges have to sing for their supper? Pity the first few defendants who get fined in the mandatory quota system so the judge can make sure he or she gets paid. If you're going to have a new court system, the position should be properly funded, and judges should not have to fine people to get paid. However, it is the scope of the powers that are proposed here that should give every property owner concern. This legislation will cost taxpayers, it's anti-property owner, and the only people who will benefit are real estate speculators who look to swoop in, buy properties, forced into receivership. Property owners will face losing their properties, paying receivers substantial fees and expenses, as opposed to trying to work with the city to correct a possible code violation. Rhode Island cities and towns, with or without municipal courts, today have the ability under Title 34, Chapter 44 of the general laws relating to abandoned property to have the ability to file a verified petition in Superior Court to seek conjunctive relief or possibly a receiver to deal with abandoned property that may pose a public nuisance or deal with dangerous or deficient conditions. We don't need to create a housing court to do that. This whole concept is a prescription for a disease that doesn't exist. It's like bombing boats in the Caribbean to stop a narco-terrorist problem that doesn't exist. If officials say it enough times, people might believe it. The existing court system is functioning. The inspection staff is doing the best they can with available resources. This is not the time to be creating a court to generate patronage positions, employ draconian measures to take people's properties that will struggle to cover its costs and collectible fines.
You have 1 minute, Mr. Murray.
That's all I want to say at this point, Mr. Chairman. I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on docketed items only?
Thank you.
Drake Patton, 684 Natick Avenue. Mr. Murray, this may be the only time you and I ever agree. But I feel similar to Mr. Murray. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't quote law. Well, I guess I could, but it would be inappropriate. But I've spoken to this body in various forms many times. I have said, please let us be data-driven. That is the training I come from. I think if we're going to look at changing government, it needs to come from data. I haven't seen that presented. I've also heard on and off it is going to be a trial, a sort of, we'll see how it goes. But if you're going for legislation at the state level, it's difficult for me to imagine that we will get that permission and then we'll just see how it goes. So I have asked before that you pump the brakes and think about what questions might be asked. What might we learn about the housing stock in our city that we might address in thoughtful ways? This is a very difficult time to create more hassle for people owning homes. We are in a financial mess all over the place, and housing is a huge part of that. So I have said it before, I'm tired of hearing myself. I'm sure you are, but I really ask that we have a little more information, data. Thank you. One other quick issue, I want to thank the president for the thoughtful piece in the newspaper. I appreciated that you discussed the newspaper notification and talked about coming up with a better version. I would highly recommend that whenever possible, it goes into a newspaper of record. I'm sure there will be times when that can't happen, but I'm sure there are also times when it can. And this is also a governor on how often we use special meetings. They really should only be happening when necessary. So I'm repeating myself again, but I just want to say it one more time. Thank you.
Thank you. Is anyone else in the audience that would like to speak on docketed items only?
Good evening, Stephen Marcella. I've been the solicitor in the city of Cranston for the Zoning and Planning Board for the last 18 years. And I've also been the prosecutor for the Housing Court for the last 18 years through essentially three chief judge with Judge Jocelyn, Judge Smith, and now Judge Koya. The reason for my attendance tonight is like Mr. Murray, when I did see that first initial draft of the ordinance, my first thought was the scope was not needed. And obviously with the new resolution, I'm just here to encourage the subcommittee and or the full city council, when it does come to that, to know that I'm here to answer any questions. I encourage any of the city council people to actually, if they can, attend a court session. I will say that unlike a Providence, while there are housing violations, the docket is manageable as it is. Right now we meet 2 times a month. The court dockets take about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. While again, I believe that we probably do need some additional inspectors. As far as expanding the court system, right now there's just not the volume to do that. The only time the court system has ever been even close to being overloaded was 2009, 2010 during the housing crisis when the banks were taking properties and no one knew who owned them, and we had to come in and basically find them. But since that time period, I have some months where we might have one or two matters on the docket. Sometimes we might have a little bit more. And then additionally, regarding money that's generated from the court system, you have really three types of violators. The first are people either elderly or disabled who are hoarders. And what we try to do there is we act more as CCAP and really try to assist those people to become in violation, because finding them really wouldn't do any good because they don't have the money to pay. So we try to get through social services to help them out. The second type are investors, and those people we do try to go after aggressively to find them if they do work without permits. And then the third is we have about 3 of them, or what I would call the chronic violators. I don't want to mention the names, but the council people know who they are, and they're constantly in court through Mr. Millay and myself and Mr. Verdecchia. We've taken them to district court, to superior court, fined them. We've gotten tens of thousands of dollars of fines for those specific people. But again, they're not so much a burden on the day-to-day court system as they are to the city and the law department through Chris and myself and outside counsel try to address those chronic violators. But I know this is just here for a resolution, but again, in the next few months, should anyone have any questions regarding fines, how court works, kind of the docket, please reach out to me. I know Councilman Bonanno did, and I spoke to Councilman Campapiano, but this is probably my first time here in 8 or 9 years. So please feel free to reach out to me or to Judge Fort, who handles the calendar, or to Miranda Botello, who's the court clerk. Thank you.
Attorney Marcelo, will you be available at discussion when we ask about the resolution to answer questions?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else in the chambers that would like to speak on docketed items only?
Good evening, Joy Fox, 411 Fair Street. I'm just here tonight to talk about the special advertising, the advertising for special city council meetings. Just want to express my appreciation for the time that was taken to put this together here tonight, and for all of you thinking it through, and how much we appreciate that. Again, from the Cranston Herald's point of view, we still have questions about how and why this came up at all, so we'll keep looking into that. But again, just to be fully transparent here, we do charge for these ads. It's nominal, but whether or not you advertise with us or the Providence Journal or any other publication, for us, the root of this issue and the larger point here is about accessibility and transparency, both in print and online. So as we enter this new phase of online advertising, we look forward to being a partner with all of you and with the clerk's office and getting this right and making sure we're getting the word out in a timely fashion to your constituents. And we will continue to be an advocate for transparency. So again, thank you very much for your attention with this. It's great to be with you all again. So thank you.
Is there anyone else in the chambers that would like to speak on docketed items only?
Good evening, members of the council. My name is Stanley Peichel. I'm the acting director, building and zoning official for the city. I'd also like to reiterate what was said prior to me coming up about the resolution that's proposed. I think we need more resources to help people to comply. Ultimately, compliance is what we're looking for. We're not looking for fines or penalties or things in excess of what's really required. I actually have a couple of handouts. I recently went to a seminar from the ICC, which is the governing code which we act under, adopted by the state of Rhode Island, which has all the rules and regulations, fines, penalties, everything pretty much spelled out into it. And if I may, I'd like to just pass this, these little handouts.
Is there a motion to accept this into public record?
Motion to accept Mr. Pikel's paperwork into the record.
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Council Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Indubar.
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
So again, there's, as Mr. Marcelo stated before, there's different ways of compliance, different enforcement decisions we have to make. And they're based on, you know, different people. The first categories of people that are willing and able to comply. And you can see all the things that we look for them. You know, we try to make it easy for them to comply. And then there's the people that are willing but unable to comply. So we try to work with them. And again, ultimately, compliance is our goal. However, then you get down to the people that are unwilling and unable, and the people that are unwilling and able. So that requires a little more attention from our department to put stricter guidance in place to try to get them to comply. So basically, I think all of these will be in place, and to bring in another municipal court, I think would cause confusion, because if they're operating at different times or not within our department's realm, it would cause confusion with our inspectors that are out there doing the same job, and they might be redundant on what they're looking at. And I just think we could use more resources to help us get through this. Yeah, I don't know if foreclosing on a property is going to solve anything. It seems to me that it would just be beneficial to those seeking ulterior motives. Somebody that may be looking at things to acquire a property, and that kind of seems like an unreasonable lawful taking of a property. So that's about all I have to say. I'm available for questions if you have any.
You will stay for after, if we have any questions for you?
Sure.
Thank you. Anyone else in the chambers that would like to speak on docketed items only? Technical clerk, anyone online?
There is no public comment online.
Okay, at this point, I'd like to close public comment, enter into new matters before the council, starting off with the resolution requesting the Honorable General Assembly of the State of Rhode Island to enact enabling legislation authorizing the City of Cranston to establish a full jurisdiction housing court division within its municipal court. Sponsored by myself and a few other people.
Motion to approve.
It may entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman Campobiano.
Thank you, Chairman. At this point, I just need to learn a little bit more about what's going on here. This has been morphed from the beginning, where it was special meetings and we're going to do this right away, to now we need enabling legislation. I listen to the people who do this every day, and I'm not even sure at this point that it's needed. I said earlier today, you probably, like I said, under the schools, the thing we're tasked with is spending other people's money. And I take that very seriously. It's one of the things that I don't like doing it. And so I need to know what this would cost the city if this was put through. I don't think, from what I'm hearing, fines are gonna pay for this. I don't know the judges, and if we going to be reimbursed by fines if that's even ethical, which was stated earlier. In order to, like, I've seen the physical note, and I didn't even know if that's all complete. If we're going to set this up, we need IT people to set up, the ticketing system, how this is going to be advertised. We got to do stuff on the website. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to be involved. This is not going to just happen overnight. We need a bunch of things. I mean, how is this going to be enforced? What's that going to cost us? I like to see some type of study show that, I talked to Judge Fort this morning. I says, "Are you overwhelmed?" He says, his exact words were, I'm underwhelmed. Now, I don't know how many abandoned homes there are in the city of Cranston, how many houses that are in disrepair. What's the reason for the disrepair? I mean, are we going to start finding little old ladies that can't roof their house $500 a day until they lose their property? That's something that I don't want to see happen. I mean, this definitely, this is trying times, and I know how hard it is to keep up a house. So I'm on a side note. I mean, I talked to and I think it was mentioned earlier, I talked to the pastor at the church, the Hope Church on Situate Avenue. I told him, if there is problems with people needing to mow their lawn, they need to clean it up, they need to paint their house, do you have resources? And he said they would be on it in a minute. There's something that they would definitely want to take care of and do. I think that's more of a way to take care of these problems that we see throughout the city. Let me see, I got some other notes here I want to see. I don't want to see this turn into neighbors going against neighbors and just reporting neighbors just out of spite. I mean, is that something that could happen? I'd like to hear the comments of the rest of the council, and then maybe have some questions for the people who came tonight. So that's what I have for now.
Councilman Bonanno.
Thank you, Councilman Indahar. I want to respond to a few things that I've heard so far. Number one, first of all, I want to start out by saying that I think Stan is the utmost professional. I have nothing but good things to say about Stan. I have a tremendous amount of respect for Stan, and Stan has been, while he's been in the building office for a long time, he is only newly the acting director. And in no way, I want to say this at the beginning, in no way are my comments meant to impugn Stan and the job that he's been put into doing. I've served alongside him on the zoning board for years, and you won't find a better professional. Same for Attorney Marsala and Attorney Murray. Stan mentioned that compliance is the goal. Compliance is my goal as well. I can't speak for any other council member, but that's my goal. I also agree with, I think Stan and Attorney Murray and Attorney Marsala all said it, but I know Mr. Peichel said it. We need more resources, 100%. Couldn't agree more. We need more resources. We need more inspectors on the ground. We need more inspectors working with people to get compliance, and we need more inspectors and the system to get people to court when compliance isn't able to be worked out. The system that is in place 100% needs to change. And the reason that it needs to change is because, and this is where I don't think it's anybody that is currently in the inspector's office and zoning compliance office. I don't think it's anybody that's there is now's fault, and I want to be very clear about saying that. But for the past few years, it wasn't working. Just wasn't working. And it needs to improve. I hear a lot of things about little old ladies and people that can't afford stuff. Simply a scare tactic. Simply a scare tactic. Nobody here is going to go and take a little old lady's house away. Okay? But it's the people that thumb their nose at the city and say, yeah, I know I can do this. And like Attorney Marcella mentioned, chronic people who are who are out of compliance. Chronic people who are out of compliance. That's what this is meant to target. And each judge and each inspector has discretion within the law, and they have discretion as to what to do in certain cases. And another part, a very integral part of what we want to do is ensure that there is a continuity of a judge with the housing cases. Right now, Judge Fort is handling that. We know that, okay? But I don't know who reads the paper, but it's a possibility that Judge Fort is no longer going to be a municipal judge. Okay, he's been rumored, and I wish him luck, to get a better judgeship. In that case, part of the issue and how we got to where these issues are now so prevalent is because there was a constant roving sort of coverage situation with the judges, where you have one judge 1 month, another judge 1 month, and another judge the third month. And what happens is each judge wants to be lenient the first time they see a case, but it's the third time the case has been before the court. So the problems continue to go down and down and down, and we need some consistency in the judges. I think that ultimately, if this is passed, that the goal is for the housing division of the municipal court to work in tandem with Stan's office at zoning and compliance and get Cranston to look even better than it does. People have had many, 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 many opinions on this. And my opinion is, if it's good enough for Providence, Johnston, Warwick, Warren, Lincoln, Portsmouth, South Kingstown, and Foster, it's like what? 25% of the state just right there. And that's only examples. I didn't have time to continue to research what other cities and towns have this court. It can be good enough for Cranston. And I want to leave you with one thing, and one thing only. This council and members of it specifically have been criticized for trying to put forth an idea. And I've been accused of not being a good Republican sometimes, but I'm going to quote one right now, and that person is Teddy Roosevelt. And there's a speech, The Man in the Arena, and I'm going to read it. It's not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or when the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcoming. But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither knew victory nor defeat. The people who come to these meetings and talk, that's not who I'm referring to, okay? But there are people out there who don't have the gumption to come here and give their opinion, and they want to criticize. I think credit is due for trying to do the right thing, and that's why I'll be voting for this. Thank you very much.
Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Listen, I've never been to a municipal court meeting. I'm not a housing speculator. Listen, I came to like the idea because I think we have to do something here. And if I look at the bottom two corners, the owner who is unwilling and unable, or unwilling to comply, those things, I see a lot of them. I go through neighborhoods. There's not a neighborhood in this city where we don't have minimum housing violations that have been there year after year after year. So I'm not throwing shade or criticism, but right now, when I walk through the neighborhoods, my evidence, my data is what I see and what I experience, the neighbors I talk to. Sometimes they are those little old ladies that we speak of. They say, I wish my neighbor would take care of it. I wish they would, trim their trees, mow their lawn, take all this rubbish off their lawn. I wish they would fix this. It's dangerous. And nothing's happening. I am certainly not, and perhaps I seem a little emotional, but to think that I'm looking to take someone's home away, I know it wasn't intended to be an insult, but it does kind of get at me a little bit because that's not who I am. That's not why I became a public servant. This is a chance to do something that I believe is needed. Now, some people may not think it's needed, and certainly I can hear there are questions as what will this look like when if and when it does hit the ground and go live. And at that point, I guess we're going to have to hammer that out. We're going to have to make that sausage at that time, and I'm sure it's going to be messy. But tonight, what we're acting upon is a resolution for enabling legislation of the Rhode Island General Assembly just to see if we could have the possibility to do this. Because all the other times we were speaking, we didn't have the authority, much to Mr. Murray's point. Right now, this will give us the authority to have that conversation. So right now, we're not going to have data, but perhaps going forward, if this does happen, if it does pass in the General Assembly and we do get that enabling legislation, then I think that's time to bring those questions, bring that data, and have that discussion very thoroughly before we pass anything. But I will support it because right now, and as long as I've been walking the streets as a public servant and talking to people, I see this as a need. Some of my colleagues may disagree, but I see it, and my evidence is this. I talk to people. I ring their doorbell, I knock on them, they tell me what their problems are. I do my best to help them. And sometimes I go back year after year, and I see the same violations and no improvement. If you see the same thing again and again, something is wrong. And I'm not going to make a smart remark about it because you probably know where I'm going to go. I'm going to support it tonight. I like the idea of having that discussion. And I welcome the debate back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to call Attorney Marcello up to the podium if he can, please. He made a few comments that I just want clarification on. You said that the housing court generated tens and thousands of dollars. What year was that?
Probably 2010, 2011. So back.
So, okay, okay, I understand.
Yeah, so,
you don't have to quote you, but the other question is.
Wait. So so the reason for that was during the foreclosure crisis, what was happening was what we termed ghost foreclosures, meaning no one could figure out who owned the properties. So these properties would stay vacant until either, the pass-through collateral so they could figure out who was foreclosing. So when liens were put on the property, they ran for years and years and years. Sometimes the banks would come in and fight it. Sometimes the city would settle. And sometimes, it was crazy back then. Bank would just, we had one bank write a check for $50,000, but that is 15 years ago. That whole craziness ended at that point. But there were some times where banks just took hits and they just sold the property for whatever they could get it for.
And since you're the prosecutor for the housing court, and you've been in Cranston for 18 years in the municipal division.
So I've been the zoning and planning solicitor for 18 years, along with the prosecutor in the housing court for the entire time, from 2008 to the present, both through Mayor Fung's administration and through Mayor Hopkins.
So you haven't seen any houses that are abandoned or anything come through housing court the last 2 years?
Well, so ironically, you say that. About 3 days ago, I also represent the Cranston Housing Authority. We were in the process of buying a house from Rhode Island Housing. This out-of-state, quote-unquote, nonprofit came in, filed a lawsuit for about 60 houses in 7 or 8 towns, and set up a forced receivership. And now Rhode Island Housing cannot sell the property to the Cranston Housing Authority because we now have to go through a court hearing to prove that Rhode Island Housing did not abandon a property that was not abandoned. Taxes were paid, no violations, no water and sewer was current. There was insurance on the property, but some out-of-state nonprofit, which wasn't really a nonprofit, has come in and put this property in receivership. We're trying to redevelop this property for deed restricted housing through the housing authority. And now it's tied up in Superior Court. So and in that lawsuit, there were 3 Cranston houses. To my knowledge, one of them was owned by Rhode Island Housing. I don't know who the owners were of the other 2 houses, whether they were in fact abandoned or they're not, but those have to go through the process too.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll just save my comments. Mr. Peichel, if you could come up, please. Mr. Peichel, thank you so much. I know you guys are so understaffed over there and you guys are doing a tremendous job. And thank you for taking that acting directorship. But my question is, you say you need resources. There was a first version that had some part-time help. Were you for or against the part-time help?
I believe that would be against the union contract. to be
So
honest.
you're still in the union, correct?
I am, yes.
Okay, so basically, the union turned down help, resources.
We don't endorse part-time help if we can hire a full-time position.
And how much is a full-time position?
I don't have the recent numbers. with
Well, I don't want to get off topic, but how many code enforcement people do you have right now?
We have 3.
Had or have?
Have,
You have 3.
correct.
And who handles your abandonment list?
We have an unofficial abandonment list. Anne Marie Marchetti is holding that in her folder.
Is that something public or is that something internal?
At this point, it's not. It's unofficial because we don't have confirmation on all of those properties to publish anything.
So I'm just curious because as Mr. Marcelo or Marcella spoke, there were 3 properties on an abandonment list that you have, which is 739 Broad Street, 162 Bracken, and 1746 Cranston Street. I'm just confused that your office gave this Helping Hands receivership company or organization, whatever they are, a list, and 1746, that's in planning, correct? I believe they're going to develop something over there. So why would that list leave your office for a receivership company?
I didn't know that it left my office, not to my knowledge.
Right. I mean, I thank you again for your help. I understand you guys are short-staffed over there, but thank you so much for your service.
I think part of the confusion is like Steve Marcelo said, the titles aren't clear a lot of times, and we have to do research. That's a full-time position to have somebody determine whether or not that property's been abandoned. Our inspectors are busy doing their daily duties, so for them to be totally focused on trying to find title searches and things like that, that creates a whole different position.
Councilwoman Graziano.
Sorry, so there, when a property has an unknown, like an unknown title, it doesn't go to a title attorney? Like why would zoning code staff be doing that work?
Yeah,
Mr.
I
Chairman.
think we're going off topic. Yeah, sorry about that. Councilman Bonanno.
So like my colleague said, there were some additional employees, whether I think they were part-time in the original proposition. And I understand collective bargaining. You know, I'm in a union myself, and I always have been. So is my wife. But that leads me to another question. How many people do you think, as far as inspectors are concerned, would be needed to make a court like this or the court that we have now work properly? How many inspectors do you need?
I really can't answer how many inspectors. It's a coordination thing. So we would kind of need a chief housing inspector to look after that. Currently, I'm doing building, I'm doing zoning, I'm doing inspections. I'm pretty straight out in my daily routine. So we would need somebody totally focused on handling the housing aspect of it all to make this work. So I can't answer the numbers, but I think who we have now, they're on top of what they're being given. They're not out looking for properties, looking for problems, but when it comes to them, they act on it. And it takes time to get compliance. You're
Mr.
going
Chairman,
through a whole process.
I'm sorry to interrupt. So I just want to kind of refocus this council. This is enabling legislation to set the jurisdictional or expand the jurisdiction of the municipal court. If this passes the General Assembly, then we will have the proper jurisdiction to maybe expand the court as the council wanted. All these other questions about what the court will look like, how many staff we might need will be addressed in the actual ordinance that will be drafted if we get that far. But the really only issue before you today is whether or not this resolution, which will expand the jurisdiction or actually clarify the jurisdiction of the municipal court, whether this resolution should be going forward to the General Assembly for their action. This council would not be able to take any action on or creating a municipal court
for housing until this legislation was passed. So these are all very good questions. I just don't want to get too far because we're kind of delving into some personnel matters, budgetary matters. We're a little off the resolution that's before you.
Okay, so let me just rephrase it.
I just wanted to say, well, Mr. Pikel's there, and this might be off topic too, but I'm going to say it anyway. You got a tough job, and I know how hard you work personally. And I think that if there was a person that can help straighten out the situation that I believe that we've gotten to, it's you. And I respect you at your profession, and I think everybody on this council does as well. So I don't want you to go away thinking that we're attacking you. It's not you. It's been a problem for years and years and years, and we're just trying to address it with you, not at you. And I have utmost respect for you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, I have the
think you're
utmost
just saying
respect
that
as
'cause
well.
I'm here.
I say it outside too. I've said it for years. So
Well, I guess I'll ask you the last question. So you wouldn't support this resolution going forward with your 3 inspectors, even though the fines for last year were $78 and we have 3 inspectors?
I don't see any of the fines. We're trying to gain compliance, so I don't know how, the fines get dispersed or what happens when that happens.
Okay. Because at the
I
budget
just haven't
line,
had a lot of time to research this resolution. It's just seemed, it's coming at me like all the other housing things that the state instituted into us with zoning and things. And that just creates confusion until it's ironed out and it's finalized. And I would be willing to work with anybody here to try to, make sure that it's going to be successful. I don't know that it's going to go forward easily. I shouldn't say go forward easily, but for us to institute it, if it's going to work very easily.
thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Councilman Campobiano.
Thank you, Chairman. It wasn't my intent to any scare tactics or anything. We were told by Attorney Marcella that we have 3 chronic offenders. We have stuff in place to levy these fines. I mean, do we need to make a court because of 3 chronic violators? Do we need to make a court? I mean, we were told by the director in inspections that he needs resources. I think our efforts would be better directed if we fortified what we have now instead of establishing a court. We have everything we need in position from the research I've done, from the people I've talked to. We have everything that we can get this done without establishing a court and potentially costing the taxpayers more money. So I won't be in favor of it for that reason.
Councilman Bonanno.
I just, with all due respect through the chair, Councilman Campobiano, I think Attorney Marcel, and he's here and he can verify it. I think he said there were 3 different types of violators, not 3 chronic violators. That's what I heard. I could be mistaken.
No,
but
he said there was 3 chronic violators that come back to court.
There are 4 types of violators, which are in the handout that Stan gave. And there are 3 chronic violators. One of them was literally had files open when I showed up here in 2008, and it's still going on. Different properties, puts them in compliance, buys properties. So there are multiple properties. We've taken him to district court, superior court. He's appealed to the Supreme Court. So there are, but Stan's matrix is a lot accurate as far as 4 different types of violators.
I'm sorry then, Richard. I apologize. I misheard. I'm sorry.
And I just want to say, if you believe that we put this court in place and then miraculously all these problems are going to go away, it's not going to happen. It's going to be the same thing we're seeing now. We have to go through the same process. It may have a little bit more teeth, but we're still going to see the chronic violators and it's going to go down the same road. I just want to say again, I think we can fortify what we have now and it'll cost the taxpayers less money and concentrate on fixing the problem that way.
Council President and Councilwoman Graziano. Council President, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. and I don't know if it's 30 chronic violators. A little louder. I'm sorry, I moved my. I'm not sure. I'll say it again. I'm not sure how many chronic violators there are, but I'll tell you, I've been walking the streets of my ward a lot over the last, God, how long has it been? 10 years. And I see the same houses that have violations again and again. Now, is that considered a chronic violation, one of the big three? I don't believe so. However, if we're saying that there's, and I see them, that's my data, that I see them, and when I go out in the spring, I'll see them again. And the same people I talked to last year and the year before will talk to me about, nothing gets done. There's something wrong. There is a disconnect into what we're doing, or what we believe we're doing, and what's actually happening. I'm not pointing fingers or finding fault, and I'm not saying that this is going to be a panacea to fix everything. However, what I think is unacceptable after 10 years of saying it is what it is, it's unacceptable not to try something different. I'm not sure if this is correct. I'll be honest with you, but I'm willing to give it a try. And I think I'm voting tonight for that manner, for the enabling legislation, to give it a try, to hammer out, see if we can hammer out something better. Because in my view, I'm not throwing shade on anyone, but I don't think it's working as well as maybe some other people in the room. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Councilwoman Graziano.
Thank you. So I just would like a chance to let the public know my perspective. I'm coming at this from a different perspective. So in my real life, I am a town official. So I am part of enforcement. And so this is something that I do every day, all day. And I'm constantly looking for tools in my toolkit. How can I get somebody to gain compliance? And I want it to be the easiest and fastest way. And that isn't always the avenue, but I'll tell you that seeking injunctive relief is not something that I go to as my number one path. That's one of the most difficult, time-consuming avenues because I have to bring town council with me. If I'm going to a district court, I go to Rentham Court all the time. I can just go with my materials and myself. So I sort of think that that is where we're at with this municipal court. It gives you an avenue before you have to go seek injunctive relief if you do go that far. That being said, there's a lot of discretion here. I mean, I was hired at my position because I'm a professional. I would expect that same action to be here in Cranston. So our zoning enforcement officers are professionals. They know what they're doing. They're not going to go to someone's house who is underemployed or is an elderly person and start fining them and sending them to municipal court. I don't do that. I would never do that in my position. It takes a long time to get someone to even get to the district or municipal court. I think there's a ton of other avenues that code enforcement does before they even get that far. But I do believe that there's an ultimate goal and it's compliance. And there are a lot of people, residents, commercial, industrial, that just say they know the system. They know how long it's going to take. They know the avenues. And this gives our staff the ability to have a new avenue. And whether we're understaffed here in the city of Cranston, sure. I mean, I'll tell you off the top of my head, when you just said 3 code enforcement, I have 2 code enforcement officers. I have 14,000 people in my town. So I can tell you right now, this is not enough. I'll stay on topic. So the goal is definitely not to impact or hurt our residents. The goal is to create a community where everyone feels like their neighbor isn't going to abandon their house and have it catch on fire. Woodbury Road, Ward 1, which happened to us. So I know from experience that that is happening. Whether that is part of the enforcement list, I don't know. We can find out later. But I'm looking at it as a town official, and I support it for that reason, because I think we need tools in our toolkit. And if we need additional inspectors, that's a different conversation at a different time. But I think injunctive relief is costly for the town, and I think this will in fact reduce the cost if we don't have to go to Superior Court. So we're going to look at the cost overall, but I believe that this won't cost the city a ton of money. And in fact, we're going to bring in, fines, but it's not fines so we can pay our bills. It's fines so we can get compliance. And it's for the work that our staff is doing. When I'm before the clerk magistrate and she's asking me if we can reduce fines, and then I produce a list of the amount of hours that my staff has worked on going after the person that's in violation, she says, okay, you've worked on this for a year. Great, full fine, $1,600, bam, stamp, out. And they have to pay us $1,600. So, I think it's a good idea. And I think there are residents that are just possibly in non-compliance, like I said, commercial, industrial. So I support this as a enforcing party.
Councilman Bonanno.
I talk a lot, I know that, but I just want to say that I don't concede that this is going to cost the taxpayers money, which is why I'm supporting this. I think that right now the system is that the taxpayer, like every taxpayer that takes care of their property and the taxpayers that don't, are paying for the inspectors and whatnot to go out to the property owners that don't take care of their property. And the lion's share of that is paid by the people who do take care of their property. And like Councilwoman Graziano just alluded to, the fines there will now be paid more by the people that are not in compliance. Okay? And if they don't want to pay the fine, they comply. I don't think that the judge should be singing for their supper, to quote Mr. Murray. I don't think that's ethical. But I think that if somebody was not in compliance and it costs the city a ton of money to get that person into compliance, that person should be responsible for paying it, not everyone else. Thank you.
Is there any further discussion? Well, I just want to say that there were many versions of this housing court, and after listening and having different versions of this for the past 4 months, Councilman Biano, we only are strengthening the division of the municipal court. We are not creating a court. Heard from the public loud and clear, they don't want a lot of judges, so fine. We're just gonna add 2 more, but guess what? They're gonna be stipends. So that way it's not a burden on our taxpayers. So with that, clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
No.
Councilman Bonanno,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on to Councilman, where are we? New matters before the committee. Ordinance 112502, ordinance and amendment of Title 10, Chapter 32, Section 40 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances entitled No Parking on Certain Streets Generally.
Motion to approve.
Any discussion? Clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano.
Yes.
Councilman Bonanno.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano.
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Okay, done with new matters. Moving on to committee matters, committee business matters carried over. We're going to start with Amendment 102503, ordinance and amendment of Title 2, Chapter 4, Section 60 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances 2005, entitled Advertising Special Meetings of the City Council, sponsored by Council Vice President Horoyan. Is there anybody that would like to speak on it? President Wall.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tom, I sent you something. Is there a chance you could put it on the screen? It's on the screen now? Beautiful. Okay. So certainly we've had a lot of discussion and a lot of deliberation over the past couple of weeks regarding this amendment of ordinance 2.04.06, which has to do with the advertising of special meetings. If you look up there, the current ordinance, that section, I can't see it well, but I see Tom's screen. That current ordinance is on the top. All right. And the problem with that top ordinance, that current version, is let me just start with this. The idea is changing this ordinance. We wanted to get it right. All right. We were not complying with our own ordinances. All right, with the posting of special, with the advertising of special meetings. All right, special meetings are called when we have items or things to be acted upon when we have a short time parameter. All right, and those special time parameters don't always give us a lot of time. They don't always give us 7-8 days necessary to have them posted in the print version of the paper of general circulation. All right. Actually, before I go on, Rose, we have a couple of copies of the ordinance as the proposed change. Is there a chance we could pass it? Yes, thank you so much. Oh, you have some as well? All right, very good. Okay, but do all the members of the council have them? I just want to make sure everybody's got a copy before I go on. So for the sake of time, I'll speak as you get a hold of it. Those special time parameters don't allow us to post with a 7 or 8 day notice, as I said before. Now, here's where we have the problem. The charter, when they speak of special meetings, says that we could have a special meeting with 24 hours notice. That's in our charter. However, our state law, as I've reiterated before, says that we can post a meeting in 48 hours, special or regular. And just to also reiterate this point, the last time we were together, I think it was brought up, I don't know who brought it up, that we don't have that many special meetings. And whether we should or shouldn't, we have a lot of special meetings. Over the last 5 years, myself and 2 previous council presidents, we've had 188 special council meetings or city council committee meetings. Sink that in. So we're talking about a lot of meetings. And the truth is, this has been an issue going back numerous council presidents, advertising. So when I speak about this, the bottom line is I think when we made this change, how it came about, we want our ordinances to comply with the way we do business. I think if you're truly transparent, you don't just put an ordinance because it looks nice. You put in ordinances because that's what we're going to follow. And that's really what the motivation. It wasn't to sacrifice transparency. It was to make sure we're doing what we say we're going to do. So if you look at the change here, and if I look at my cheat note, in the red, basically everything in the second, and you have I guess the ordinance version, but the one on the screen, that's just a version so you could kind of see it. The one in the red is the change. It keeps all the language, all right? It keeps the original language, and then it adds the words with exception of special meetings called with fewer 8 days, right? Special meetings, meeting notice shall be published in the online version of the newspaper of general circulation within the city. All published or online notices shall contain all the information contained in said written notice, such shall be posted on the city's official website. Everything remains the same until you hit that 8 day. We needed a concrete time. So we had to make sure that we wouldn't paint ourselves, we make an ordinance, we would paint ourselves into violating it again. So all of our meetings, regular committee meetings, and special meetings that can be posted 8 days or more will be posted and advertised in the newspaper of general circulation, which generally is the Herald. But if we have less than 8 days, we'll post it on the online version of the newspaper of general circulation. And I think with this, I don't know if it makes everybody happy. I don't know if it's perfect. I do realize there are some people who do not like to use the internet, who don't. I did a little study of the data, to tell you the truth, and it's consistent that the number of people use online newspaper and online news is increasing all the time. The number of people who have internet in the United States and in Rhode Island is about 93 to 94%. That data I checked. So there is a certain people who don't use the internet. But this is the only way we can write an ordinance, I think, where we would be actually complying with what we say we're going to comply. So it does a couple of things. It maintains the advertising in the print version of the paper of general circulations for regular meetings and regular committee meetings. It provides advertising in the print version of general circulation for special meetings with 8 days or more notice. And it provides for special meetings with less than 8 days to be advertised in the online version of general circulation. And to me, importantly, it makes it possible for us to conform to our ordinance with what I would say, and I don't mean to be sarcastic, preserving what I would believe is more legitimate transparency than what we were doing before. I don't like to sign off on something we're not doing. That's all I have to say. I know I've taken a little bit of time.
Councilman Campobiano.
Thank you, Chairman. I want to thank the council president for bringing this back to committee and having respect for the people who were worried about this. The only thing, I don't have anything I like what you did. Thank you. The only thing that it's not a change, it's not an ordinance. I would like to see something maybe as a header when it goes to, it goes to print, anything goes to print, something like due to time constraints on not all special meetings may be published, refer to our website or the city's website. So maybe there'll be a header at the, so if someone's reading the paper and they just don't realize there could be a special meeting, it's something in there just to alert them that they can, if they are curious, they could go to the website and check it out, and it would be there.
And in fact, if you'd like to speak on that, Attorney Marcel, he just actually, I believe, make sure I say it correctly.
Attorney Marcelo, you have the floor.
Would you like to?
I really don't want the floor, but I think you can take care of that as a matter of policy when the thing is posted and whatnot. So that's a clerk issue that we could make as a matter of policy of the council.
I thought that it would just be, it's like I said, it's not an ordinance, it's just a policy. If we could just add that as a header or at the bottom, it won't take up any more room. It's just something that will alert people that no one will be surprised if something happens.
That's fair.
Councilman Banana.
I just procedurally, is there a motion yet? No. Okay, so I would like to make a motion to amend ordinance, what's the number on here? 1025-03 to read the following. The City of Cranston, ordinance of the City Council is an amendment of Title II, Chapter 4, Section 60 of the Cranston City Code of Ordinances, 2005, entitled Advertising Special Meetings of the City Council. It is ordained by the City Council as follows. Section 1, Chapter 2.04.060 is hereby amended as follows. Notice of all special meetings of the City Council called in accordance with Section 3.07 of the City Charter, accepting special meetings declared an emergency meeting by the mayor or majority of the City Council shall, in addition to the written notice requirements contained therein, be published in a newspaper of general circulation within the city, with the exception of special meetings called within fewer, that's word on the, called with fewer than 8 days' notice. Such special meeting notice shall be published in an online version of a newspaper of general circulation within the city. All published or online notices shall contain all the information contained in the said written notice, and such notice shall be posted on the city's official website. This ordinance shall take effect upon its final adoption.
Second.
That's my motion.
There's a second. Any discussion? Councilman Campobiano.
Yes, I think this is for Attorney Marcelo. It was just brought to my attention that the online posted ordinance doesn't match what we were given tonight.
This is an amendment to that ordinance, an amendment to the original proposal.
So we're amending the original proposal.
Okay.
Yeah, I made a motion to amend it to what we got in red.
But, I'll ask the question.
No,
So that doesn't have to be, we can amend it on the
Procedurally, we
floor.
amend it here and then it goes as amended online and everywhere. for
I'd like to
full
have the attorney
council
clarify that.
ratification.
I believe.
I like to
I
have
believe that's
the
proper
attorney
procedure.
clarify that instead of,
Yeah, I'm sorry. So I believe that's the proper procedure, excuse me. There was something that was posted, obviously. As a legislative body, they have the right to amend it as they see fit as meeting, as a result of public comment, whatnot. So that's basically what they're doing. So they have amended the thing that was posted by the language that you just heard. So it does not every amendment gets posted before it happens, because that would kind of, no, I mean, that would kind of slow the process. That wouldn't be the purpose of the public hearing. The public hearing is to get public comment on them as posted. And then as a result of those comments, things were amended. So that's where we are today. So there's nothing improper with the procedure that we're following.
thank you for clarifying.
Any further discussion? Well, I want to thank Vice President Haroyan and President Wolf for bringing this matter up, and thank you, Councilman Bonanno, for amending this. Clerk, can you please add me as a sponsor to this? And with that, whenever you're ready, Clerk, you could call the roll.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes,
Council President Wall.
Yes.
motion carries. Now moving on to.
Wait, do we need a motion to approve it as amended to the council?
Is there a
I'll make
motion
that
to approve
motion.
it
Yes.
amended as?
Motion to approve as amended on the chamber's floor.
Is there a
Second.
Second, any discussion? Seeing none, clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano.
Yes.
Councilwoman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar.
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Okay, moving on. Committee business matters carried over. 92504, ordinance and amendment of Title 10, Chapter 32, Section 180 of the City of Cranston Code of Ordinances of 2005, entitled No Parking on Weekdays, sponsored by Councilman Bonanno and Council President Wall. Councilman Bonanno, I believe you'd want to speak.
Yes, thank you. This has been, for no parking, this has been probably the most difficult one this council's ever seen. And it's been that way because of the configuration of the streets, and the limitation that we've proposed, and I hope that the council wants to put in place. So I apologize for this coming back and changing all the time, but the version that I'm going to propose sort of right now has got the blessing of the traffic engineer, and hopefully in 5 minutes, it'll have the blessing of the council, and then we can put this behind us. So it started out as two ordinances. I got advice to put it into one, and it wasn't good. So now we have advice to put it back into two. The thrust of, and this is what we discussed last meeting, it's not changing what we're trying to do. It's just changing how we're going to list it in the code book. So there's not a meaningful change that needs to be reintroduced and all that stuff. We sort of got that opinion the last time from the council attorney and from the solicitor's office. So I have two things to propose that is going to hopefully limit the parking on Hybrid and Hollyhock to only 1 hour on Saturday and Sunday. Every other time will be no parking. I'd like to start with the following. I would like to make a motion to amend I lost my train of, excuse me. I'm still on the special meetings page. (9-25-04) to say the following. Ordinance of the City Council and an amendment of Title 10, Chapter 32, Section 90 of the Cranston City Code of Ordinances 2005, entitled No Parking on Certain Streets Monday through Friday. It is ordained by the City Council to amend as follows. We're going to add Hybrid Drive, easterly side, from Garden City Drive northerly to utility pole number 3 on Hybrid Drive, And then Hybrid Drive on the westerly side from Guardian City Drive northerly to Utility Pole 1 on Hollyhock Drive. I'd like to make a motion to the First Amendment on this proposal.
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Now, is there a
All right, I
motion?
would like to make a motion to put that to the full council.
So moved.
As
Motion to
Approve
approve
as amended,
as
yes.
amended on
Thank you.
council floor.
Second that.
Any discussion? Clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Okay, I would like to make a motion to amend the proposal to also include amendments to Title 10 Vehicles and Traffic, okay? Cranston Code of Ordinances 2005 to add Chapter 32.700 entitled 1 Hour Parking Saturday and Sunday Only. Vehicles and Traffic, 10-32-700, 1 hour parking Saturday and Sunday. No vehicle shall remain standing for any period of time within or upon any of the following streets or highways or parts thereof at any time except on Saturday and Sunday, when no vehicle shall remain standing for any one consecutive period of time longer than 1 hour. That's going to also be Hybrid Drive, easterly side from Garden City Drive northerly to Utility Pole number 3 on Hybrid Drive. Hybrid Drive again on the westerly side from Garden City Drive northerly to the Utility Pole number 1 on Hollyhock Drive.
Second.
Any discussion? Councilman
Thank
Campobiano.
you, Chairman. How's the sign going to read?
There's a sign, there will be 2 signs. There will be a sign that reads, no parking Monday through Friday in red with the big P with the no smoking lines through it. And then there'll be another sign underneath in green that says 1 hour parking Saturday and Sunday only. There will be there's no need because of the configuration of the phone poles on these streets to add any metal. And in the email, I call them thingamajigs. I don't know what the official title of them is, but those corrugated metal angle lines, we don't need those in anywhere because there's enough phone poles around. So there'll be 2 signs, probably two or 3 sets, as I described.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar.
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
Now may I entertain a motion to move this to the full council as amended.
Motion to move to the full council as amended.
Second.
Any discussion? Clerk, wait, Council President Wall.
Listen, I just want to say this, and I've said it before. I can remember, God, when did we first start talking about this?
Talking the 2 of us or
Yeah.
July?
In July. And those of you who don't know me very well is I tend to like, if you tell me to do something, I'll do it. I'll put my head down and do it. But that day, I didn't say that. And really quickly, Councilman Banano said, I can handle it. And this is a day, months later, I am so glad I listened to Councilman Banano. He did so much work doing this. It was so many hoops to jump through. I appreciate you. I know the people in the neighborhood appreciate your efforts. And I just want to say publicly, thank you for your efforts, Councilman.
Yeah, I mean, this one was difficult for many reasons. I don't think anybody was trying to be difficult. It just wound up being difficult and you dodged a bullet.
Any further discussion? Clerk, please take a roll.
Councilman Campiano,
Yes.
Councilman Banano,
Yes.
Councilman Graziano,
Yes.
Councilman Andujar,
Yes.
Council President Wall.
Yes.
And I think moving on to council communications, there are none. May I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes have it. We are adjourned.